So today's clip is going to be about growing big vegetables. It's going to be about sowing different types of vegetable seedlings, but more importantly what we're going to do today is we're going to add certain fungi spores, and they're going to increase the size of the root systems of our vegetables. Now this is really handy because if your root system is really big, your vegetables will also gain in size as well. And this is also very good because a lot of the vegetables will be able to take up nutrients, and the health of your vegetables will improve as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sow a lot of different seedlings, different types of vegetables. I'm going to use the different modules and different trays for different types of vegetables. I'm going to also use some of this organically certified compost, and I've also added a bit of seaweed powder to it as well, just to enrich it a bit more. Now the first thing I'm going to sow is brassicas, and I haven't actually added any fungi spores yet to this because brassicas don't actually want any fungi growing onto their roots. They're kind of unique in this. So I've also added some worm compost to this mixture, because worm compost is amazing in that it has up to 30,000 different species of bacteria in it. So by adding it to this compost here, I'm making sure that I'm getting the optimum amount of bacteria for my plants. Now that any kind of compost has some kind of bacteria in it, and the reason why bacteria is so important is because it's actually the bacteria that feed the plants in a natural system. So this is my wormery. As you can see, there's millions and millions of worms. So I'm going to use these trays here now, these modules, for the brassicas, because they're just about the right size, and I don't want to waste too much compost. Now if you wanted to get really like prize winners of vegetables, like really big ones, the bigger the module or the tray, the better. Now I have some swede seeds here that I've saved myself in 2010, so I'm going to add them now. As you can see, there's literally thousands of them, and I'm just going to take a small amount, and I'm just going to put in like 2 in each one. Now, and then what I usually do is I just kind of brush over it like that. Just to give you an example now, this is a pot that I'm going to use for this pumpkin. Also, see, this pumpkin seed is quite thick. That's as well another thing that you want to make sure of, that your seeds are nice and thick and nice and big. But as you can see, it's quite a large pot. Now I'm going to transplant that as soon as there's maybe 5 or 6 leaves, because that's about the time when it's going to get root bound, and I want to get there before it does. And I'm going to plant it into a very large area, So now that I have the brassicas done, I'm going to use the rest of the compost here to add some of these fungal spores that I've kept, that I've saved myself. They're from the big giant puffball. I want to grow giant puffballs, so I'm just going to try that out. Normally what you do is you get any kind of puffball. They're usually from a grassland variety, and you just basically add the spores to the seeds. But as I said, you really want to try out this giant puffball variety, so that's what I'm going to use this year. Now you can also get these on the internet as well. As you can see the spores are coming off that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wear a mask, and I'm just going to mix it with the soil. Because I figure it's going to be much easier than fiddling about with each little seed. So now I have my fungus spores in the compost, and I'm going to do all the different types of vegetables, because most of them like a bit of fungi and a bit of bacteria in it, because I also have, of course, my worm compost in here. So another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this molasses. I'm going to basically use 1 teaspoon of this to every watering can, lukewarm water, so it dissolves properly. I'll let it cool down a bit as well, and then I just basically sprinkle it onto my plants, and this will feed the bacteria in the compost there that I've added. When it comes to growing big vegetables, natural gardening systems really are the best way to go about it, you know. I mean, if you just look at a forest, then you will kind of appreciate how nature has been able to grow something so large, and yet there was no need for fertilizers, there was no need for digging or anything like that, but yet we have big forests in the world, you know. And we are trying to use the same kind of principles by adding kind of bacteria and fungi and different things. So this is a really wonderful way to grow big vegetables, because you've done three things. You've basically given your plants much bigger containers than you normally would, so they can just, you know, expand the root systems. You also have given them some mycorrhizal, which are the fungi, which will make the fungi will act as a root, so it's going to grow twice as big. And you've also given your plants the right kind of bacteria, which are actually the ones that then feed your plants with a lot of nitrogen as well. So I hope you enjoyed the clip, and if you have any questions or anything like that, just leave a comment, and yeah, take care.